Hello, everybody. It's James, and I have another episode of CEO Jimbo for you. Again on Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which was a Boeing 777 Malaysian Airlines that disappeared about 10 years ago, roughly. It took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, for Beijing, China, and disappeared. Took off just after midnight on a Saturday, and so on. This is my umpteenth video on this series. I'm writing a book on the subject, and I'm working on section 4 this time of my book of 4. It's basically on communication and timing, but then the chapters are sort of broken down into people, places, things, and other. So it's sort of like the act of God and other, I think, is what I currently have. And I'm really kind of working on just trying to get the flow going, so it sort of like sums up the book, sort of a final send-off with kind of where we are and where we're going with it. I have a tablet right in front of me, and the most interesting thing, this is like 2 weeks of research. I did a video on section 3 2 weeks ago, and so as soon as I got done with that video, I shifted to this subject, section 4. I'm on a rotation like that. As soon as I finish this video, I'll be shifting to section 1. Working on that again. So anyway, this is my book, and of all of the things I could really kind of like focus on, that I was just thinking about what I want to do this video on, and this is relatively recent, where I think I just got this yesterday or the day before or something like that. Finally kind of put it in. This is part 4. This is chapter 13, section 1, affiliation characters, part 4, Sullenberger and others. That's Sully Sullenberger, the U.S. Air A320 pilot that famously landed in the Hudson River, and he has kind of a say on it, and so on. So part 3 was the 777 captains. There's like 2 different 777 captains that have been sort of really in this discussion. One of them is named Hardy, last name Hardy. I still haven't really found the second one, so I may drop him and put somebody else in there. Vance is Larry Vance and Florence Chengi, section part 2 of that, and Blaine Gibson, who found a lot of the parts, was 1. So anyway, this is chapter 13, section 1, affiliation characters. You've seen this before. This is kind of my own silliness, but it's just a way of sort of like trying to organize all of this. And I've said long ago that I kind of learned to kind of succeed in like archaeology classes and anthropology classes. You want to kind of like make lists of things, and what I've done here is I've kind of like listed about this. I'm trying to come up with a list of like the top 7 people of many that really seem to be instrumental in sort of serious research on this subject. This is what I've come up with. This is like Hollywood Squares, a TV show from maybe like the 70s and 80s and so on. I think they were mostly like stars. They were I think they sometimes had like civilian people, but they're regularly your Hollywood stars that would be in here, like maybe Sammy Davis Jr. would be here, and maybe whoever the guest was. I can't think of. There's some regular ones. Just all your famous people. Jack Benny, maybe, I don't know. But they always had visitors. Enough on that. So I've picked Blaine Gibson. He's instrumental in finding parts for the plane. He's an American attorney that has gone over to East Africa, and the islands around there to find parts and so on. The Larry Vance I just showed you in the thing is a investigator for the Canadian Transportation Safety Board and wrote a book on this subject. This Florence Changi is a journalist that works in aviation, like accidents, specializes in that, and she wrote a book on this subject also. This 777 pilot Hardy, last name Hardy, I think he's British Airways, the 777 captain, and just feels like because he knows the 777 so much that he has a lot to say about this missing 777, so on. There's another fellow similar to that that I've seen in several movies, videos on it, but if I can't find his name, I maybe kind of pick somebody else. This Godfrey is instrumental in finding the plane. He has kind of this technology idea of using ham radios to kind of trace the trail of the plane, and thinks that the plane may have ended up kind of down in the eastern, in the Indian Ocean in a particular spot, due to information that he's got from like ham radio, history or something like that. This Jeff Wise is a journalist who works, I think, for CNN, or did at the time when the plane went missing, and was like a private pilot, and kind of combined his knowledge of aviation with his journalism career, and sort of became an expert on this particular missing flight, and wrote a book on it too. He wrote a bestseller, New York Times bestseller. Still looking for that one of these days. And then Jim Hall was the chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board of the United States, that made a comment on it. And there's not much. I may drop him and find somebody more that has, just a lot more to articles about, that have, involving MH370 or something like that. And then finally, Captain Sullenberger, Sullenberger, I've chosen to be in here. And he hasn't, I don't think he's really said a lot about MH370, but, he's just so famous for, his the aftermath of that miracle in the Hudson thing and so forth. And so anyway, the thing here on Sullenberger, I think he's kind of like most known for just saying that this disappearance is complicated, and he thinks that the authorities are trying to give us a simple explanation as to what happened, and I think he's saying that something probably very complicated happened, and we haven't quite figured out what that is yet. A fire or something like that. Regardless of what the investigators conclude, we already know that MH370 has revealed at least one gaping hole in aviation security: the failure of most nations to use Interpol database of stolen and lost documents. Much of the speculation in the early days focused on the fact that 2 of the passengers were traveling on stolen passports. While there is nothing indicating that these passengers were involved in the plane's disappearance, like many people, I was surprised to learn that very few countries make full use of the SLTD database. According to Interpol, passengers boarded planes more than 1 billion times in 20 2012 without having their passports screened against this valuable law. There's a lot more on that. Enforcement tool. That's Sullenberger. And he has a website. One lesson learned so far from Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. And I found this article 26 December 2023, which was Tuesday and it's Wednesday night, so just yesterday, I guess, from this www.sullenberger.com. Kind of going from bottom to top here a little bit. 2012, I think, was the year that the plane disappeared. I think it was actually 2014. So it's close, but not exactly on the year. It was like March 10th of 2014, I think it was. According to Interpol, the passengers boarded the planes more than 1 billion times in 2012 without having their passports screened against. Well, even if he's a couple of years off, I think he's kind of suggesting that there wasn't really a significant change after that. And this kept happening right up to, March 10th, 2014, or whenever the plane went missing. And that year probably was about the same, if not maybe a little worse or something like that, as things kind of tend to move that way. In the early days, there was a focus on these two passengers. That I think that there was sort of a bandwagon of people that were basically saying that this plane must have been hijacked by these people, sort of like maybe 911 style, or something like that, or that they just demanded to go somewhere and went. I guess that's why they kind of stopped pointing the finger at these two guys, because nothing really sort of added up. There wasn't any people that came forward or to it, or was there? If I remember, I'll go down to the very bottom, because I just fairly recently found a thing that said that that there was a organization that claimed responsibility for this plane disappearance just maybe a week or two after it disappeared, and the authorities quickly said that wasn't a legitimate claim. If you've been watching my videos, again, that's a trend where the authorities just say, they reject parts. That they look at a part for 2 seconds and they say that can't be part of the plane, and then people study that thing, and so sometimes they can kind of come around later saying, yeah, maybe it was. I mean, if all you people are saying it is, maybe it was. But anyway, so regardless of what the investigators conclude, we already know that MH370 has revealed at least one gaping hole in aviation security failure of most nations. So this very flight, I guess it's sort of a fact that that there were two people on board this plane with stolen passports, and they made it, through the security clearance and all that type of stuff. So there's sort of a pattern there's lots of things that sort of, my very last video on this flight was the flight data recorder didn't seem to have a battery that was working, and I was hoping that people would comment on that and kind of help me decide whether that battery was kind of dead in an okay way, or whether they were sort of like not doing what they were supposed to be doing. There's a lot of things in aviation where you can kind of like take off anyways. You check your list and it says that you can take off with one of two batteries dead or something like that. So, maybe they were allowed to do that, but it sounds like they were sort of breaking the rules. And here, it's not so much that they're breaking the rules, but they were sort of like not really, it's kind of like breaking the rules on not screening people. They're supposed to screen people to make sure that they don't have stolen passports, and they didn't do that. And so 2 people with stolen passports got on the flight. So with that, let me see if I can scroll down to the bottom here. I was trying to kind of figure out what I was going to do here, and kind of come up with a list, but I just couldn't get it without just starting the video. And now I got the idea here. It's like right on the bottom here on resistance to others. I can remember this. It was, I think it's lizard people, but never mind this, because lizard people I think are kind of a different people. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, pretty sure this is it. Meanwhile, a shadowy group called the Chinese Martyrs Brigade has claimed responsibility for the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, but officials, here it is, but officials were skeptical and said the claim could be a hoax. That's a common trend. It's like if it's a suitcase, they'll say, oh, this suitcase couldn't have been part of it. Or if it's that fire extinguisher bottle that was on the Maldives, they're just quick to say, oh, no, that's not an airplane part, And the list goes on and on and on. And, maybe you're kind of starting to kind of see the pattern too. But anyway, the group, unheard of before now, on Sunday sent an email to journalists across China that read, "You kill one of our clan, we will kill 100 of you as a payback." I thought about that for a while, the ratio there, where it's like it was 240 people on the plane. So, that's basically just 2.5 people to 240 people. I didn't think to set up the ratio. If I would have, I needed to start the video to kind of come up with this idea. I just wasn't going to come up with it beforehand, so I started the video. Anyway, the message provided no details of what brought the flight down. The Malaysia acting transport minister, that guy Hussein, told reporters at Kuala Lumpur airport on Monday, and he doubted the claim's legitimacy. So somehow that doesn't surprise me. Associated, this is where I got it. Associated Press, March 10, 2014. That's right about the time. I mean, this is just right when the plane disappeared. They said Sunday. I think this is the very Sunday. That was Saturday that it went missing at like just after midnight. They think the plane may have been flying in the morning Saturday, like around sunrise, still before it, crashed or landed or on the water and sunk, kind of thing. And then it must be this Sunday. So anyway, March 10, 2014, the title of this article was "Pennsylvania Woman Was on Doomed Malaysia Flight." And then I found it on 22 December 2023 from https newyorkpost.com. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I was watching my own videos on this, and there was one maybe about 3 to 6 videos back, or if not more, where I was it was in parts section and talking about the plane, witnesses. And there was a witness that said that he saw that he thought the plane kind of looked like a kite on the water, like a crashing or crashed kite or something like that. In my video, I kind of was trying to like visualize that, and I was kind of like moving the plane this way, kind of from child memories of flying kites and remembering how they sometimes like get dragged on the ground where you're the kitest, and you're like, because of the wind, it's like just looking like that in front of you, and you pull your string and it moves that way. And then it dawned on me that what I was doing wrong on that is it should be like this, because the kite has a keel, like right in this area, and the string would be tied to that. So, your kite would be looking like this, and if the line was sort of like where where my kind of from my nose to here, and you pulled on it, it would be like this across the ground. Like if I walked backwards, I would kind of pull it this way. So anyway, I had that wrong. This is, this doesn't make any sense because the line, wouldn't be right. This, you have the keel like right here that would be tied right on here, so you pull it like that. So anyway, that's it. Made this thing eons ago, and I just haven't ever used it for the first time. But here's in closing, this has been a CEO Jimbo show starring James Power, CEO Jimbo. Thanks for watching. Next time we'll be on section 1. Please subscribe, like, thumbs up, and all that type of stuff. I think I'm going to probably give section 3 a break when I get to there next time, because it's way ahead. I'm already sort of like writing it, and I have all of my excerpts and so on, and so I'm going to probably give that one a break. So I'll basically go from this one, I'll start section 1, do a video on that, and then section 2, do a video on that, and then I'll be right back to section 4 again, and so on, to kind of let everything else get caught up to section 3 a little bit. So anyway, have a good one. Happy New Year soon. It's between Christmas and New Year's right now, and so on. Here in Boston, people are saying Happy New Year already. So Happy New Year.